First at 6, an Oklahoma prison, now a major source of COVID-19 cases in Muskogee County. Last night at 10, we first told you about that outbreak at the Eddie Warrior Prison in Taft. And tonight, we're learning the number of inmates testing positive is growing. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Neely Jones.
And I'm Mark Bradshaw. There are more than 500 who've tested positive for the virus. Today, NewsChannel 8's Maureen Wurtz spoke with officials about what this means for the county and for the prison.
930 days behind bars.
Well, I can tell you that prison changed my life for the better.
Jessica Good says the time she spent at Eddie Warrior Prison may have changed her life. But the world also changed quite a bit when she was released in May, right in the middle of COVID.
You don't know what's going on in the world. You know what's being told to you. You can watch the news there and you know what's being said, but you don't really know what's going on.
Now, the prison she spent so much time in is a source for a major COVID outbreak in Muskogee County. The majority of inmates at Eddie Warrior have either tested positive for COVID or have been exposed to the virus.
It's heartbreaking. It just spirals you into another zone of thought.
The mayor of Muskogee, Marlon Coleman, says he only found out about the outbreak during a meeting last week. At first, they heard there were around 40 or so inmates that had COVID, and now there are 583.
And from that point, we started making the phone calls and finding out that there was a problem at Eddie Warrior. There needs to be a way where we get that information without having to be inquisitive about it.
Coleman says he's not just concerned about the inmates in the prison, but for the workers and their families.
You know, I wake up and I go to bed, and all I think about is COVID. You know, it keeps me up at night.
Mayor Coleman called this a humanitarian crisis. Do you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely.
Good says she's been keeping in touch with inmates, and things are tough.
The morale is very low on the yard right now. When I was there, we had just started kind of the lockdown. I experienced 2 months of the lockdown for COVID, and the morale just slowly each day gets worse.
Good saying morale is dropping as COVID cases climb. Reporting in Taft, Maureen Wurtz, NewsChannel 8.
Officials with the Department of Corrections say they've had to adjust how the prisons run, including having staff deliver meals and medicine. They've also increased the amount of PPE delivered since declaring it a hot spot last week. Now, because it's a hot spot, volunteers and visitors are not allowed in.